everybody. I'm Mary Gardner of Mary Gardner Communications and the Inspirational Speakers Academy, and I'm really excited that you guys are all here. You are in for a treat today. I've got two amazing guests, and you're going to be hearing about some breakthrough technology, the med bed and other grounding technologies. We've got a true inventor on the call with us today. We will be having guests that will be joining us, and if you are watching us by tape, thank you. Hope you can stay to the very end. We're going to have some good Q&A. We're going to be casual today, so if anybody that is in our set today, if you want to send questions, you can raise your hand, you can chat. We do have about a 30-minute presentation. We're wrapping top at the hour, but we are going to be taking Q&A, so if you have any questions, if you want to send them into email, you can definitely send those to me at mary@marygardner.com, mary@marygardner.com. So I look forward to talking to you guys all individually, but today I'm excited to introduce two amazing people. We've got a scientist with us today who has done a lot of the research on the med bed and the grounding technologies. Dr. Francisco Cidral is a naturopath doctor and also a neuroscientist. His commitment to evidence-based wellness and non-invasive integrative therapies, all underpinned by the rigorous scientific research. We're so excited about that. Working alongside a network of professors, scientists, researchers, Dr. Francisco is dedicated to exploring and substantiating and implementing innovative solutions that promote health and well-being and effectively bridging the gap between traditional health practices and cutting-edge scientific research. That's the big thing to know, is that everything we're talking about today has been scientifically researched, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of studies. And then we have the most amazing inventor, John Baxter. John is a pioneer in sleep technology. He's an entrepreneur, a philanthropist. He's a martial artist, and he is a pioneer in the sleep industry. He's the owner of antiagingbed.com, and his mission is to solve global stress. What a noble cause. He's patented breakthrough innovations like the anti-aging sleep technology, med bed healing technology, Baxter Health electrical health, encompassing leading modalities, including pioneer EMF shielding technologies and Operation Honeybee to save the planet. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming. I know that we have a PowerPoint today, and Dr. Francisco, I know that you are going to share that today. I've given you the right to share, but I just welcome everybody here. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. We're going to jump right in and get started. And if you have questions, certainly jump in, and I'll be trying to monitor those. My assistant Jane is on the call, and she's able to help us as well. All right, thanks. Go ahead, Dr. Francisco.
Well, thank you very much for the kind introduction, and thank you, everybody, for your time. This is a pleasure to be here, to be talking to you today, together with John. And we're going to talk about the med bed and some of the technologies, but we don't have enough time to talk about all the technologies that John is involved with. This would take like a few days, not interrupted talk, right? Because he is in a lot of different spaces in health and wellness, and he's very enthusiastic about helping people optimizing their health and wellness. In this case, we select two of them, but be invited to come into the website and look at the additional things that John is working on. I think that you already have an idea of what we have done in the past, but maybe if John would like to say anything else about himself, then we can.
Yeah, thank you, Dr.
That's that you're supposed to get, and it's supposed to heal. Sure.
Yeah, if you want to put it on.
Yeah, we can
Please mute yourself.
Also, so we can keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah, thank you guys for the introduction. I'm honored to be with both Mary and Dr. Francisco. Dr. Francisco, among his peers worldwide, he is a top leading scientist. He does studies. He's working with people around the world, not only the top people in biohacking, of course, but he has really brought together amazing studies. And our mission is to transform the world at large, the wellness across the world. And with this technology, it fits into so many different segments. And I'm so excited to be with you here today, talking about the medical innovations that practitioners and providers that could be using to fulfill the needs of their patients. So I'm just really honored to be here today. Thank you guys for all joining.
So, I mean, she already talked about my background, but I'm a naturopathic doctor. And right after I went into a 2.5-year specialization in integrative medicine, then a 2 years master's in neuroscience, a 4-year PhD in neuroscience, and a 1-year postdoctorate in health sciences. I became a professor in neurophysiology and integrative medicine. This was many years ago, more than like 15, more or less 16 years ago. And right now I'm still an associate professor with a very big university in the south of Brazil. That's where I was born, Unisul University. We have about 400,000 students throughout the country as a network of the universities. I'm also a professor at the Integrative Wellbeing Institute in the US, and a professor of the post-graduation level in integrative therapies of the Sapienza University in Rome. So I do a lot of research internationally in the US, and primarily the US, in Brazil, Italy, and in India as well, a lot, with different companies. I've been in the sector of validation and studies for companies in the health and wellness space for about 15 years now in the US, and serving very big name companies, including the anti-aging bed. And so this is the summary of what we're going to talk about. We try to cover everything in about 30 minutes, but feel free to ask any questions when you have. And John, also, please intervene if you want to add anything to what I'm saying. I'm going to give you some of the evidence and the background on these different types of technologies, the MedBed, which is a hyperbaric chamber, and the grounding technology. And I'll show you briefly some of the studies that we're conducting together with John and the company for our validation. So what is the Tesla MedBed? This is what it looks like. And it's a hard time oxygen chamber. It's a harness therapeutic. It has a lot of different therapeutic benefits and a lot of technologies incorporating into it. It's not just a hyperbaric effect, but there is also far infrared. There is a lot of different technologies. John can tell you a little bit more about those. And the purpose is optimize the body's natural processes. So we're always focusing on health and wellness, and then it's stimulating the natural ability of our body to take care of itself. And that's the goal. It doesn't matter what kind of problem you have, or even if you don't have a problem. The idea is that we stimulate the body so that we're doing it preventively, and also in terms of recovery processes for any different pathologies or diseases that you have. One thing is underlying everything else, which is your own natural ability to surpass those problems. And this is what we're trying to do here with these technologies, stimulating the body's natural resources and natural healing process. So it's this device is suitable for wellness centers, for hospitals, and for home use as well. It uses a 93% oxygen concentration in the hyperbaric chamber, and gets to up to 1.5 atmospheres. And it's a monoplace chamber, which is for a single patient. I know if John wants to add anything to the technology itself and the other things that are associated.
Yeah, because this Tesla MedBed, the hyperbaric chamber has been out for quite a long time, over 20 years. A lot of the stuff today we will cover in regards to the hard chamber is the effectiveness of the hard chamber by itself. But you can add on Tesla MedBed as a category name, and this is a first generation MedBed. All that means is that there's up to 10 technologies that can be added or harnessed for therapeutic benefits while using the hyperbaric chamber. So what we realized long ago, and I know it's getting out now, is that when you combine during the duration that you have a patient, the multiple technologies that you combine, some people call it stacking. Some people have different terms for this. But the therapeutic effects during the duration using multiple technologies increases and optimizes the body much quicker. And because of that, that's why this is such an advanced technology. The awards that we have received in accolades is due to not only our grounding, but this particular product. We've won World's Greatest Health Technology in Bloomberg 2024. We're just listed in the New York Times just this week. So this is a groundbreaking technology. And when it comes to minutes, this is a technology you could put someone in, and it has real-time measuring and monitoring. So the beautiful thing is likely it's very hard to predict or showcase data. And this category is 100% accountable. It shows before and after. You can dive into any organ, any cell, and look at the therapeutic benefits real time. So I'll leave it at that, but it's an advanced system. A hyperbaric chamber is amazing, but when you mix it with the Tesla MedBed, think of a hyperbaric chamber as like a hamburger with nothing on it, and think of the Tesla MedBed works with all the different technologies. So.
Thank you, John. It's also because some people respond differently to different therapies. They are more prone to answer better to specific modalities. Now, when you have different combinations, then you can, probably be able to cover more of those different aspects. And also when you have different technologies and different therapeutics that are going to target different things, then you're combining it. Sometimes you have added benefits, sometimes you have synergistic effects. So it always makes sense when you can stack those therapies at the same time, saves people times as well, which is a very big thing nowadays. So a hyperbaric oxygen therapy is a therapeutic use of oxygen at a higher pressure level than our atmosphere. It's very similar, and this is also called like the diving reflex, which are the physiological responses that occur when we're in the water. And it triggers a lot of different feedbacks from our body. It induces bradycardia, peripheral vasoconstriction. So the blood vessels in the extremities, they constrict, and then all the blood flow goes into the vital organs. Then you have, imagine that, you have more port of oxygen, more port of blood flow, more port of everything else that is necessary to really increase your energy and increase your report of nutrients and everything else in your most vital organs. So that's in itself is already an advantage. So you have the blood shift from plasma and water move into the chest cavity to protect the organs and increase pressure at that. This what happens in the dive reflex, and the hyperbaric environment induces very similar physiological responses. The outcomes is enhanced oxygen transport and utilization, reduced heart rate, so more relaxation. You see like there is an increase in parasympathetic activity that has to do with recovery and all that. And then redistribution of blood to prioritize those essential organs, which lead then to the delivery of the oxygen, and the outcomes are reduced inflammation and promotes healing as a whole. So you have more nutrients into your body. There is a lot of literature already on the effects of hyperbaric oxygen therapy chambers in the literature. I just summarize some of the data here for you. We do have a literature review that cover everything that we looked at. If you're interested in getting the document later, then we can share it with you, showing all the benefits from all the different publications that are out there. But infection treatment is something very interesting, very useful against antibiotic-resistant pathogens. There is some very interesting data in the literature, and it has direct bactericidal effects. It enhances the immune system. So that helps with the whole infection treatment process as well. And is synergistic with certain antimicrobial agents. I mean, there are studies that do a combination of both, and the effects are very interesting. It's also very effective and has low side effects when the guidelines are followed. I have a page for you later on that tells you in which cases you can't use it, but it's also covered in the literature review that we have. Another area that is very well known and the benefits is in wound healing. It's especially for burns and diabetic ulcers, which is becoming very predominant nowadays. It reduces the amputation rates and enhances the survival of those areas that are recovering, the compromised flaps and composite grafts. And the mechanisms are very similar. Again, enhances oxygenation in blood vessels and tissues. And then it improves also the function of fibroblasts, collagen synthesis, and neovascularization. So you're increasing the amount of blood to the area, increasing the production of collagen and the activity of fibroblasts, then you have a faster recovery process. the studies are showing this very clearly. Then another area that I thought would be very interesting to mention is in our brains, right? So if it can be effective in brain trauma and acute cerebral edema, you can think that the natural function is also enhanced, even when you don't have a TBI, for instance. So it's very interesting, especially in chronic stages of strokes with memory and speech loss, because again, you're bringing more blood, more oxygenation, more into the area, and then you help with the recovery process. It reproduces formation of new blood vessels and angiogenesis, and also attracts one of the stage of the stem cells to the damaged area. So you can see that there is also a neuro rehabilitation and neuro development in that specific area. You have a reduced cell death because it lowers inflammatory cytokine levels that have to do with the inflammatory process, and also is very effective in muscle regeneration in cases of strokes for patients that need to recover for the process. Here are just some of the therapeutic indications and uses. I'm not even going to go over this because it's, like I said, there is extensive literature data supporting all these different uses over here, and they all have one thing in common: more oxygen supply, better circulation, decreased inflammatory processes, and improving the recovery overall. So the list goes on and on.
Dr. Francisco, has it been used a lot in autism?
There's not a lot of research in autism to this day.
Okay.
I don't know if John has any specific case that he would like to mention or no.
Yeah, we have a lot of children here with autism, of course, and this is a combined modality that we use when the situation is the right situation. But usually autism has to do with something different, but when the overall effect of the body has increased and enhanced, it actually is a benefactor.
Awesome.
And here are some of those contraindications that I mentioned. So as long as we follow these recommendations, the additional side effects that people can have, some people may, I'm not even sure if this ever happened with this medbed, but it's reported in the literature that some people may feel a little dizzy at first because they're not used to taking so much oxygen like that. So that's one of the things. Some people may have a little bit of a headache, but it's something that goes away very fast. Or if you have a cold or something, you may feel like your ears pops, like when you're on a plane, similar to that. But apart from that, I don't know if there is any other very serious contraindication or side effects. So these are the things that we have to look at. And then, of course, I just didn't want to keep it to the realm of treating specific diseases, because at the end of the day, the name of the company is Anti-Aging Bed. So I just wanted to show you a couple of publications. There is a lot more out there that is looking at hyperbaric oxygen therapy for healthy aging as an antioxidant. Then it has an anti-aging effect. Like when you see here at oxygen level, the sea level, you have oxidative stress that is a constant in our body. And when you start to have more of the oxygen, therapy, you have a reinforced antioxidant defense. There is an increase in production of glutathione, catalase, superoxide dismutase, which are the antioxidative enzymes that our body naturally produces. And then, of course, there is a big relationship with the aging process and ameliorates the age-related pathologies. So reinforced antioxidant defense and increased lifespan because you have a very intense antioxidant effect. And then here you can see in the same paper, it says oxygen hypergen therapy. There are studies showing the effects on the telomere, which is the little parts of our genes that have to do with the aging process. As we age and the cells reproduce, you lose a little bit of the end of the chromosomes. So when the cells replicate, they replicate a little bit like it's like a Xerox that's not as perfect. And then it reduces quality, and then you take a Xerox of a Xerox, a Xerox of a Xerox. At the end of the day, after many years, then you have a very, very bad copy of your original one. That's the aging process because you're losing these. And there are studies that is showing that hyperbaric oxygen therapy has an effect in suppressing the cellular senescence. So the cells don't get aging so fast. because there is an elevation of the antioxidative activity in our body that naturally produces, there is a decrease in inflammatory processes, and there is an enhancement in blood that is being conducted to different tissues and organs. So when you combine of these different things together with the stem cell stimulation, then you have an effective anti-aging therapy. And hence the name of the company, Anti-Aging Bed, because hyperbaric is an anti-aging therapy.
Dr. Francisco, we've had a question from the audience. Has it worked with Alzheimer's and dementia, subconscious concussion blows, and CTE research as it relates to military and sports head trauma?
So a lot of interesting research in patients with stroke, with patients with TBI, in cases. Remember, it's I think we mentioned that again as well in terms of the Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. There's some very interesting research, and also different aspects of mental health and wellness, effects on depression, effects on anxiety, as you can see here in the publication. So anti-aging and effects on mental health and wellness, and then recovery from brain problems, brain traumas, and all that makes it a very promising therapy, not just for those who have one of those problems, but for us to prevent that process, and have more resources in the eventuality of something like that happening. So that's the overall, just idea of what the MedBed is. Now, unless John wants to say anything else.
Real quick, Dr. Francisco, just to add to that, I know there was a question about dementia, Alzheimer's. This is something that we do every day. So utilizing the scanning technology that we didn't cover, it's a part of the Tesla MedBed. What we found is the inflammation that's caused from atherosclerosis, it's stemming from the pancreas, leads into the brain. And that type of issue can be maximized by diet and utilization of these products. So we have a high rate of situations changing rather quickly. And that's why time and resources are important. So we're not really trying to put something with someone that takes a very long time. Because we measure and monitor real time, we're able to see these results instantly. So by the time the patient has a question about dementia, we'll actually show them the before and after, and does this look good? Basically you're improving that quick because our scanning technology that Dr. Francisco will cover later in this talk, it's a real time. So the amazing thing is it's not about the current system and how it operates. This is like looking at data real time. So we can show the benefit real time.
So now, jumping onto the grounding technologies, the problem that we have nowadays, and everybody's familiar with it. I mean, this technology is also known as earthing, or used to be called earthing. So earthing, grounding, I'm sure you have heard terms. And one of the problems is that we are kind of disconnected from the earth, like quite literally, physically disconnected, because we're wearing shoes with insulating soles the whole day, sleeping in electrically isolated beds. So our bodies are starting to accumulate these electric charges that raises then potential health impacts. This problem is linked to an electron deficiency, and it contributes to disease, inflammation, pain, and stress. So it's a very, very simple technology, but that's why it works, because it's simple. Simple things tend to have a better result. So the idea behind this is that free electrons from the earth, that the earth is, really charged with negative electrical potential and abundant in free electrons that we're missing. When in the oxidative stress process, what happens is the oxygen reactive species, they're targeting the electrons to balance them out. So they're positively charged. They want to get neutralized. They need to get electrons. That's the regular process. When you put like any type of metal or in the water, then it's going to rust because it's decaying, because the process in the water is robbing the electrons out of those materials. The same happens in our body. Free radicals are running around, and then they are targeting cells, they are targeting proteins, they're targeting lipids to get balanced. They are stealing the electrons. Now imagine if you're insulated from the earth, then you don't have that and stocked, so your aging process happens faster. So what we have is when you're in contact with the earth, then you have the effect of the amazing potential of the free electrons that are generated there, that then you also have, again, an antioxidative effect. So when a person comes in contact with the earth, these electrons are transferred into the body and they act as antioxidants. So imagine now that you're sleeping like that, that you're, doing your work day, you have pads in your table that are going to help you with this process. That's connected to the earth and then giving you that antioxidative effect.
We had a question about pain, and you addressed that a little bit. One of the gentlemen here asked about leg and foot pain. I know for ourselves, it's helped me considerably being in the med bed and using the grounding materials, the bedding and things that John sells. But also, we were speaking before everything started here, Misha and myself were just talking. I bought the grounding blanket for my dog, who's 17 years old, and just really, really uncomfortable for her to walk. And within a couple of hours of me putting her on the grounding bed, she was able to walk and jaunt and run. And so it has immediate impact from what I've seen.
Correct. Yeah, these not just pain. Like you look at this chart over here. This comes from a review paper that was published. Actually, two different reviews. But this image here is from the Ushman review in 2009, showing in the literature the different effects of grounding in all these different types of organs, joints. So painful, inflammation, arthritis, and so on and so forth. And again, it seems like a lot, but it's because everything is connected to the fact that is antioxidative and anti-inflammatory. When you have the combination of the two, then it addresses pretty much anything. I can say that. The idea is help your body deal with the situation, no matter what it is, right? So, we tend to give names because of the specific symptoms, but underlying causes is the oxidative stress and inflammatory processes. They're underlying almost every problem that we have. And then here is just to show you a couple of additional studies, not only, like the other one, not only the physiological aspects from your body itself, but also this one is looking at quality of sleep. So that's very soothing, right? Anti-aging bed, and the studies are showing an effect in quality of sleep. So perfect. Another one, then you asked about pain. So this one is covering sleep, pain, and stress, looking at the effects in 3 of them. And then I think that's the last that I wanted to show. This is overall quality of life, and it's also looking at heart rate variability, and that's quite very interesting. And we actually did that one test just to prove out that this has an effect on your autonomic nervous system. So here is just some pictures of some of the products and the way that you can use them, like in your bed, in your office, and your chairs, and so on and so forth. And this is simply simulating the contact with Earth through this system. I don't know if John wants to add anything to that part.
Yeah, this is, we have 2 US approved patents on this. You might have heard of grounding, but it's not like this. The stuff made in China was recalled over 15 years ago, and China hasn't stopped selling the 2 to 3 week grounding tech. It only lasts that long, and it's been proven. They only have 10%. We use 40%, and it took me 6 years to create this grounding technology because we created the first coil thread. So our grounding technology lasts as long as your mattress. So there's a big price difference, but this is a long-term durable product that was patented over the top of pre-existing technology. And also we created the first grounded hyperbaric chamber. And so when using the hyperbaric chamber with the Tesla med bed, it's grounded inside. And we did that because the more oxygen you have, the more oxidative stress can occur over a longer period of time. So we really made the hyperbaric chamber safer than what it once was, due to the electrons being available while you're taking in a larger dose of the oxygen, which is just amazing. So
that's a perfect combination right there. We're just going to show you a couple of the studies that we conducted with the technology itself. Those are primarily in what we call preliminary stages. because we have to do pilot tests, and then we increase sample size, and then we repeat the same study, and then we repeat the same study with different people, and then we increase the number of participants. So we're being very methodical and using a very well-balanced scientific approach to the development. And so we're, in the process. The beauty of it is the commitment of the company to, and the ethical commitment actually of the company to this process. Like not all the products that are out there in the market. I dare to say that most of them have no studies whatsoever. They don't invest their time and money and commitment into that. And John is very ethical, and he wants to show what he says is true. And then we're following a very traditional scientific methodology to do that, which is, very, very nice to me. This is, for instance, a study that we looked at during 6 weeks of interventions, and then we used validated questionnaires through literature like the Insomnia Severity Scale and the Epworth Sleepiness Scale, showing that decreases the symptoms of insomnia, and people feel less sleepy during the day with the product. And also it increased overall their quality of sleep, their mood, the energy level overall, and decreases stress. So these are from actual users doing a 6 weeks intervention. The sample size here was 30 participants.
Dr. Francisco, we have a quick question. Are you in the Schumann frequencies?
I can explain this. Yeah, Schumann frequencies is a hertz around 7.86, 7.83, but different areas in the atmosphere have different Schumann resonance. So a lot of people suggest that Schumann resonant frequencies is grounding. It is at a specific frequency, and it's very similar. This is the discharging effect that, if you want to be scientific, it's a very scientific question. So basically the Schumann resonance is likely similar to grounding, but the Schumann resonance is not really an actual number. It varies across the country, the world, and at different atmospheres. So yes, we have the Schumann frequencies, but we also we have many different frequency machines. So just to let you know, Jonathan, I think we have 8 or 9, 10 different frequency machines that we can achieve the Schumann resonance frequency.
Yes, correct. So remember, the grounding, the effect here that we have is very physical. Like in your body, when you have free radicals, this is generally oxygen or nitrogen free radicals, different species, and these reactive species, they are stealing electrons and then destabilize cells. They steal the electrons from different proteins and from different lipids, so they cause the oxidative stress process because there is a lack of electrons. When you're in contact with the earth, that lack of electrons is gone because the earth can supply it. So you have an actual physical effect and an antioxidative effect because of the grounding process. And then you have, all the different outcomes that come from that affect your health and overall. This is another questionnaire that was used, which is the Pittsburgh College Sleep Index, one of the most well-known, and validated questionnaires in research. What this is showing is that people fall asleep faster, about almost 50% faster. They have less dysfunction during the day when they're using the product. And then the overall score, and these people have like very high levels of insomnia. We made sure that we got people that had insomnia, because anything that is above 5 in the Pittsburgh College of Sleep Index means insomnia. And these people are above 10. And then after the therapy, they went down a lot. So they have a lot less dysfunction. They're still having insomnia, but they were very serious, problems here. And this decreased significantly for those people. So a lot less discomfort and dysfunction during the day because of this. So and it's so simple technology. Put the cover on your bed, sleep with it. That's it. It doesn't take much of your time. And then these are the scores that we got in terms of the profile of mood states, looking at decrease in tension, decrease in depressive feelings and thoughts, decrease in fatigue, decrease in confusion, decrease in anger, increase in vigor, and overall the disturbances in their mood decreased about 50%, which is a very high score. So mood, And we also looked at a very famous DAS-21, which measures feelings of depression, anxiety, and stress. And then look at the decrease in those feelings and the moods that they had. So psychologically speaking, the effect is very good, not just improving quality of sleep overall, having an antioxidative effect, but in the mental health and wellness as well. And that's very, 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 very simple to understand. Like when you sleep better, then you recover better, and then you have less of a chronic neuroinflammation process in your body. As you age, this is what happens. Your deep sleep phases starts to decrease significantly. And only during the deep stages of your sleep, you have activation of the lymphatic system. A normal physiological condition, during the time you go into the deep stages or deep delta sleep, what happens is your brain turns into a kidney almost, and it drains all the toxins that are produced during the day. If you don't go into deep delta, then this doesn't happen, which leads to chronic neuroinflammation, which then leads to cognitive impairment, early onset dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, stress, and everything else. Now, so you need to get into deep sleep. Look at what happened looking at actigraphy. When we were looking during the study, people were wearing an actigraphy watch and we were measuring their deep sleep stages. And then there was an increase in almost 10% during the use of the bed. So that's why we're seeing all those benefits, because it's helping a normal physiological process now is happening. Before it was not. It gets impaired over time. So here, significant improvement in sleep quality and mood, reduce fatigue and tension, reduce anxiety, depression, and stress, feelings of stress, depression, anxiety. And another set of tests that we did, we used a highly advanced plethysmographic analysis system that looks at heart rate variability, the state of the autonomic nervous system, peripheral blood flow, capillary permeability. And it helps you track all these different things. And this is immediately. We wanted to see, is there an effect immediately? Does something happen when you, so here is the voltage, when you go into the bed, with the anti-aging bed cover? What happens immediately? If you stay there for, this was during 30 minutes. So we measure people right before and then immediately after the 30 minutes. During the process, you see that the voltage in their body reduces significantly because they are on the bed. So here you can see the reduction in the voltage measured in their skin. And then you see before and after, immediately after only 30 minutes, you see a drop and a statistically significant decrease in heart rate. So people are more relaxed, less stress, and then physiology works better. And this is the index that indicates the activity of the autonomic nervous system, the heart rate variability index. And you see that there is a big jump immediately after. So your autonomic nervous system is more balanced. You have less of the fight or flight activation, sympathetic activation, less stress, less tension, less anxiety. And if you do that every night, and if you do that while you're working, imagine the cumulative effects that you have. This is immediately only 30 minutes afterwards. Stress index decreased significantly. There is an increase in SDNN, which is the marker of heart rate variability, and increase in activation of vagal tone. RMSSD is a very well-known marker for vagal tone. So you're modulating the autonomic nervous system. So the effects over here can be concluded into grounding effectively reduced body voltage, as you can see, and positively impacted heart rate variability parameters. In conclusion, it's not only to enhance patient care and recovery, but also in this case, to position yourself, your clinic at the forefront of innovative health technologies, because this is innovative, this is new, this has gotten a lot of different awards and so on and so forth. So this kind of concludes the presentation part of it, and we still have a few minutes for questions.
I would like to just introduce some of the stories that, John, maybe you've had at the clinic. It's not really a clinic, it's really a center, right? What?
Yeah, we're a products manufacturer putting this all together, and people are free to come here, set appointments. It's in the messages. If to get the full experience, a lot of times you need to see it firsthand. Talking it through has never gave this system justice. So yeah,
Yeah.
feel free to set appointments and come see it firsthand and that type of thing.
Do you want to, can you share some stories about people that have used the med bed? Do you want to stop sharing now?
Yeah,
Francisco?
and yeah, stories involving people using the med bed. So we've got a guy that came in 3 times a week for 3 months, and his doctor didn't know what he was doing, but he basically was using our hyperbaric med bed system, running frequencies. He had a stage 4 prostate, and at the end of the 3 months, he set his information in, did the biopsy, ran the test, and he had a negative 0.04 cancer rating. The cancer doctor said he never seen anything below a 0. So that's what's going on with combining multiple technologies within the same duration. And these happen quite frequently. And what appeared to be a miracle, how a technology outside a new and upcoming technology could be so impactful. Now, a lot of people with our frequency technology, it's 30, 60, 90 days, depending on how well you're eating. Eating what you're putting in your body makes all the
A big
difference
difference.
a lot of times.
Correct.
And if you're eating healthy and you're going through this protocol, it's not really that big of a deal. It's not really a miracle anymore where someone could utilize technology without any side effects and get over a major hurdle in life, which would be something like cancer or, addressing something major like that. It's it's a different understanding. And so a lot of times I do my explaining of how it's currently being used and how we do it on this side of things, because doctors are looking for new ways to give their patients the ability to connect with them, and that's why this equipment works really good in clinics. And if we're talking about all types of testimonials, there is a ton of testimonials. With there was a guy at church pasture, he got it done in 1 month. They thought this could never happen. And basically using the technology for a month, he got his biopsy. His doctor didn't want to give him the biopsy, unfortunately, but he tested no detectable cancer. So there's like so many of these I can cover, but this is an approach, a holistic, natural approach. Go
Yes,
ahead.
and remember the idea behind it is we're not treating cancer. We're not treating brain disease. We're not treating TBIs. We're not treating any of that. We're just helping the body have less of the oxidative stress, have less of inflammation, have better circulation, better port of energy. It should be healthy anyways. But because of all the problems that we have, with our lifestyle and so on and so forth, we start to degrade all the process. We're disconnected. We don't have access to the free electrons from the earth, right? This is just trying to put together things that should already be there anyways. So we're helping the natural processes. And then we're going to have cases of pretty much anything that you can think of. Oh, does this help with pain? Yes. Does it help with this? Yes. Does it help with, yes, because it helps the body, not the disease. A disease is just a manifestation of something that is not going on well with your physiology. We're helping the physiology, period. And you don't need to have a disease to do this. We can do this preventively before you develop anything. It's an anti-aging therapy, hence the name of the company. Does that make sense? That's the message that we want to convey, is that this is not to treat a specific thing. We're just helping the body. And then you have benefits on pretty much anything. So,
And
Absolutely.
he's saying the body is the only thing that can heal itself. Whether we
yes.
treat the environment and we optimize the health, it's you can't stop that, right? Your body's feeling better, you got more energy, processes are working better, and before you know it, your body's naturally ability to kick things out with a strong immune system, it's always been there. It's been clogged up.
That's the big problem that we have nowadays, is specific drugs all are targeting very specific, I'm targeting a molecule, I'm targeting this receptor, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm not looking at the body as a whole. I'm just separating a process. And then you have a lot of different side effects. We became specialized in treating disease instead of producing health. The concept that we have over here in this company is the opposite. We're not treating disease, we're promoting health. We're in the salutis genesis stage. So it's much bigger, much bigger.
Nick has a question and then
Yes.
I had a comment. Yeah.
How you doing, gentlemen? John Francisco, I have been, and Mary's aware of this, I've been using hypoxic chambers for probably 25 years as it related to emerging elite athletes. And one of them happened to be my daughter who had autoimmune disease, which kind of pushed back her alopecia probably for almost a decade, increasing the mitochondria, et cetera. My question, I didn't know whether this was in the realm of the business. We're talking business and science.
Yeah.
In this case, money. As it relates to, that's usually trailing. Once you get the answers on the science. What I've seen, like even with the hypoxic chambers, price point. That was one of my questions. Was that in the realm of our discussion today as far as where is a bed or the mattress? I would call it a smart mattress. Where is the price points? Because I saw the biggest challenge that I've seen, in that hyperbaric and hypoxic world. It hasn't been able to scale, and get into the consumer's hands like it should.
Yeah, well, it's getting in the consumer's hands through us a lot. We do a lot of podcasts and getting the information out. And we have a retail component as well for a clinic, of course, with the sleep. We actually have an answer to sleep, and that's where all the regeneration happens. And as far as the hyperbaric chamber, it is called a core unit. Now we can put in, we figured out how to put knuckles in and out and surprised a lot of people, but we can add anything we want inside of there. Time and resources are important. So we do have a scalable system. We actually have more than a single person. We have a 5-person hyperbaric chamber. We have a sit-in. We have a soft sit-in chamber. We have a elongated soft chamber. That one's the most robust, likely for a hospital. So there is different points. I think it starts at 17,000 and it goes to 20, it goes to 40, it goes to 100. Depending on like what kind of service you want to provide.
Right.
It makes it easy for you to integrate this depending on what level you're looking to do. Most people charge $250 or less. Some people charge $100, and if you want the add-ons like the frequency, the grounding, the scanning technology, you could have in the marketplace a foothold of customers at a very good price, and for them to be utilizing this technology.
Well, I'd be very interested to learn more if you're having any B2B pilots or things like that as relates to my relationships with U.S. Track and Field and the Premier Soccer League, things like that.
Yeah,
So
really quick, I come from not only product development, but understanding how this is implemented. We do have this helps people walk through the system. And right here, as you can see, is more of the med bed side of things. So we have a training system that makes it easier. And as you can see, there is a soft chamber, more of a hard chamber and that type of thing. And basically we allow you to sell it too. So that's what I'm getting at. We understand how wellness centers operate, clinics operate. A lot of the stuff that you can utilize, they may want to buy this. And because of that, we do have a distributorship with our doctors. Any of the products that can be used during sessions, and they can also be sold. They can have this in the comfort of their own home. And since it's your person, your clinic, this is standard retail at that point. We're a products manufacturer, and so we're working closely with you to give them the best options.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah. I wanted to ask a question about the EMF. Somebody had mentioned a little bit about the environmental toxins, but the 5G and all that. And I know that you have a machine that can detect the EMFs in your body. John, could you just explain a little bit about that? And then when you touch the silver technology, what happens?
Yeah, a lot of this stuff, if you go to antiagingbed.com, you can watch the world's greatest video. You can see the studies Dr. Francisco is talking about. There is a link on the side. And basically, with that being said, you can go through this information and get quite a bit of what's necessary for you. And again, your question, Mary, maybe asking.
You have a machine that you can detect your EMFs beforehand. First of all, what are the EMFs doing to us, the 5G and all that? What's happening to people as a result of those? And then what does the machine calculate? And then what happens after you touch the grounding?
So we remove pseudoscience out of our technologies. There's nothing, everything can be measured and monitored. And of course, our Wi-Fi, our gadgets are giving us ionizing radiation. All that means is it's stripping electrons, it's forcing the body to work harder to reduce the inflammation. And EMFs are one that a lot of people haven't wrapped their head around yet. But when you're grounding, as soon as you touch the cover, you're now in line, you're connected, you're no longer a live wire, you're a closed circuit with the earth. Once you become a closed circuit with the earth, the Wi-Fi that hits you actually goes through you to the earth. What's the other side of that? Well, we're wearing rubber-soled shoes. We're disconnected from the earth. The Wi-Fi is traveling through us, stripping electrons, increasing our inflammation and voltage. And the primary technology, the grounding, is so beneficial. And I'll go into this a little bit more, that we're all in the balance. A perfectly healthy person is in the balance. Frequencies increase the charge and voltage, and it does show some type of physical regeneration with some of the studies. But also, people didn't realize that with energy medicine, that the forgotten missing link was the grounding. So there's two major forces with health. If you put someone on a PEMF for days, they're actually going to injure themselves because their voltage is so high, the inflammation is so high on a product that everyone says that's great. We actually understand this. We've been working with this a long time, that the complementary force is grounding when you use frequencies. I hope that makes sense. And because of that, the EMFs and all this, it's an easy fix for us because we can prove it. We're not the company saying we're dissipating EMFs. Believe John Baxter. You can find these videos on the homepage of the website where we detox your body from the EMFs. And of course, just living in the modern era, it's almost like fighting technology with technology. So you're able to discharge this extra voltage. You have the complete system. And of course, for us, the EMF challenge is an easy one.
Awesome. Does anybody else have any questions? This has been awesome. Some people are kind of, I can't see with their faces, but any of those, like Misha, Anthony, Andrea, Kim, Edward, any other questions, Jonathan? All right. Well, I'm so impressed. We wrap before the top of the hour because Dr. Francisco has an event he has to get to. We have got all of your information and we will submit information to all of you if you want to see a tape of this. I also will get you our link.
So I'm so sorry. I tried to unmute myself. I have one question for John, just really quick. So, pardon me, it's super hot here. I'm wearing a jersey, forget my outfit. But my grandmother died of Parkinson's. My mother was just potentially diagnosed with Parkinson's this week. And there's a lot of, misinformation, in my opinion, on how to treat Parkinson's and how to treat dementia, Alzheimer's. And I know, not to kind of lead you on, John, but I know there's a lot of data, with frequency technology, with grounding tech, hyperbaric chambers, and so on. So could you just touch base a little bit on, maybe how your technology could help with dementia, Alzheimer's, or any cognitive kind of decline issues? You don't have to go too deep into it. I know you got to run.
It goes, thank you, Misha. That was a great question. I love this question because you have to go to what's really going on that creates this issue. It didn't happen overnight, right? And so when we have this food system, when we have a food system that has fake sugars in it, right? We've been blaming cholesterol, being indoctrinated, saying cholesterol is the worst thing for you. And they get also on blood thinners and this type of thing. But really, the culprit sugar and inflammation and calcium. So what's really binding arthrosclerosis? Well, it's not cholesterol, because most of our brain is made of cholesterol. We've been told disinformation. When calcium and sugar bind with cholesterol, it creates a calcification effect in our arteries and in our pancreas. So basically, this a lot of this stuff starts in that area, the pancreas. When the pancreas gets overloaded, it goes to the brain, and that causes the brain inflammation. So with your question about Parkinson's, there is fundamental things that people must do to get out of this, escape it, right? And one, of course, is diet. Diet is so important. So making sure that they've taken care of the sugar. Now, the calcium is a tough one, because if you have oxidative stress at a high level and you're not grounded, guess where osteoporosis is happening? Your body doesn't have enough electrons or antioxidants, so it's stripping that calcium and throwing it in your system. Well, that little piece of calcium will bond to cholesterol and create these major issues. A lot of us go into the root cause of possibly the Parkinson's. What we're looking at likely is bacterias hidden within the system and the lymphatic system, likely stuff that was introduced by tetanus shots. And one of them was Lyme's disease. And so Lyme's disease has many different ways that it shows up, right? And I have major testimonials in Parkinson's, Misha, and we always cover Lyme's disease, because Lyme's disease is a bacteria that has hatchlings that follow the nervous system. And that's why a lot of people that have Parkinson's and Lyme's disease have trouble walking. And so it was just a matter of trial and error for us, utilizing frequencies to get rid of the Lyme hatchlings, and using frequencies to eradicate and help remove bacteria out of the body in Lyme A and Lyme B. So if you can do this with someone that per se had Parkinson's or were diagnosed with Parkinson's, first off, I would say use the scanner. Use the scanner to find these different bacterias. And then from there, use the spotlight and going after these different bacterias, utilizing the diet that I was talking about to remove brain inflammation and this type of thing, and neuroinflammation. There's quite a bit to it, Misha, to answer, but I will cover this in detail with you and your family as we get off, because I think we're out of time.
Thank you so much, John.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for being here. I've again posted the MedBed, the anti-aging. I have a link. So you're here today with our invitation. We're so appreciative. Use our link if you are interested in looking at any of the products. We're happy to set up an appointment with Alyssa and John and Dr. Francisco. You guys are amazing rock stars. Thank you for all you're doing. And we're going to continue to push and get the word out. So thank everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Thank you, guys.